Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto's News. Second time is a charm. I apologize about starting late and having to begin anew. However, we were dropping some frames the first time, having some technical difficulties, but thank you for bearing with us. Be sure to hit subscribe if it's your first time on the channel. Be sure to hit like if you enjoy the content at any point throughout the content, and definitely leave us your comments on any topic that we covered today. Quite a lot going on in the space, so we're gonna just jump right into things. So let's start off with, let's check here. A little bit of funny. So this is my buddy on Instagram. Definitely be sure to check out Crypto Funny. I'll try to post his memes here whenever possible. But this is one of the memes really hitting the space today, which is when your friends make fun of you and you laugh at them, but deep down you still kind of scared about cryptocurrency. So he's always posting pretty funny stuff, and I'm glad to see he's getting a lot of traction within the various message boards today with that. So happy to have you guys here live. Cameron Schroeder, Dolphin, Flat Vapor, Greet Light, Highway, Steve, Dean Potter. This is how we're going to roll today. Today we're going to just jump straight through the news, and then at the end we'll do an FAQ, and I will be doing a quick coverage of the news, probably within 10 minutes, and then I'll go into a little bit more detail as far as the news. And we'll try to do it all within 20 minutes in order to get things moving along. Also, be sure to check out a video that Janella and I, my girlfriend, have put together for you about an introduction to cryptocurrency. Basically, yesterday we were at the YouTube space here in Los Angeles, where if you get 10,000 subscribers or more, you can go over, unlock the space, and use some of their high-end equipment. So we had a fun day yesterday, about 12 hours, trying to get a really nice quality video for you guys. Did what we could. It was our first time, and that will be releasing very, very soon. But it covers a lot of the pertinent questions, the most important questions that people usually ask when they're getting started with cryptocurrency and why cryptocurrency is important. So, yeah, guys. So we're going to go ahead and put that up very, very soon once it's approved. But yeah, that's kind of what the market is doing today. People are kind of scared because prices have been dipping somewhat. Let's see here. So, yeah, this is another way to look at it right now. How I feel looking at my portfolio this week. It's like, oh, dude, I don't know what's going on with the price. Shoot, it's crashing again. Oh my God. Oh, it's going up. Oh, crap. I don't know what's happening. And he's jumping up and down. It's like the Tower of Terror at MGM. Oh man, I don't think we got that low that we hit zero, kind of like he did there at the end. But yeah, that's kind of what the market's feeling like right now for a lot of people. Definitely be patient, guys. Set your goals and targets and don't sell. You know, if you're holding on till November for Bitcoin, don't panic too much. Only keep invested what you need to. Don't feel bad taking out your initial investment if you make a little bit of profit. Don't trade in these kind of turbulent times. It's scary to try to margin trade. That's my advice, or to do any sort of short-term trading. You will likely get burned at this point. But yeah, this is the market right now. So we're seeing Bitcoin down 1%. We're seeing Ethereum down. Yesterday, Bitcoin Cash had a stellar run up. We'll get into why possibly. But yeah, a little bit of an issue there, and not too many safe places again to hide over here. Let's go ahead and look at the biggest gainers and losers, guys. So if you're holding some bank coin, it looks like you're up 546%, or Ron Paul coin 165%, which is respectable, especially today, and or Lazarus coin, guys. Those are the big winners today. Also, we got BitSoar down. Ouch. But it's only 72.99%, so you're not too bad off if that's something you're holding. Or Jetcoin or Akuya coin. Those are the biggest losers today. But we're not seeing too much losses today. So I would say today's generally kind of a flat line sort of period. But that's the market. So let's talk about what we're going to get into today. I have it pulled up here for you guys. Yeah, if you guys are having some issues, sometimes it helps if you restart the stream if you're in the live stream and just refresh the page, and that can help you. Okay, so we're going to talk about a Bitcoin millionaire and a young 18-year-old chap by the name of Eric Finman, who is challenging Jamie Dimon to a boxing match, and he's trying to get that going so he can get $100,000 whether he wins or loses, and donate that to Puerto Rico, who suffered a lot during the last hurricanes. I mean, they've been affected greatly. So really nice gesture, but he doesn't suspect expect Jamie Dimon to actually take him up on his offer. We're also hearing about Bitfinex, and finally, we've talked about one of the biggest exchanges. They're a Hong Kong-based exchange, and they will finally be shutting down the doors to U.S. customers for good, beginning on November 9th. So if you have any funds in there, you're a U.S. customer, you might want to get out of there. They've basically said that it costs too much to have U.S. customers for the little demand and the little customers they actually have coming out of the United States, and the big regulatory issues such as the $75,000 fine that got slapped on them by the CFTC, the commission, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission in the United States, who said that they were selling basically on the side, off of the exchange, off of the spot price, to different people at a certain price, various cryptocurrencies, and that is regulated by them, so that's a big no-no. So maybe they don't want to have to deal with that, so they're not allowing, unfortunately, us U.S. customers to partake in them. And they have been a nice place for people to pick up some coins they might not find somewhere else, such as IOTA. So if you have your IOTA, try to set up yourself a wallet or any of these other coins that you might have only available there right now. But definitely get yourself out of Bitfinex right now, I would, without waiting too long. We're also hearing that the CFTC, tying into that, had just put out yesterday, October 17th, a primer on cryptocurrencies. They talked about what they regulate, as far as they will regulate it if there are derivatives being traded or paper contracts or futures or margin. That is stuff that they can look at. They cannot, however, look at the spot price on exchanges or cash price for people buying crypto. So it's not something that if you're running an exchange or an ICO, you really have to worry about right now. But definitely check out that CFTC primer. You will find a link below. Also, we'll be covering the 48 new members to the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, which is a consortium of a lot of the major Fortune 500 companies, banks, supply chain companies all around the world from various industries coming together to look at the open source protocol of the Ethereum network under the Consensus company, which is based in New York, which helps to share knowledge, education, and teach people about best practices for how to use the Ethereum and various blockchains. And so these companies are coming together to try to figure out ways to save costs and hopefully pass those down to consumers in both private and public fork of Ethereum settings. So we're hearing now that HP Hewlett Packard has just joined in that, among other companies we'll cover later on. So really great news there. Also, we're hearing about a major Exodus wallet upgrade that just came out via a blog post. So if you have the Exodus wallet, which is a wonderful wallet that you can pick up on various desktops. Unfortunately, no mobile application is yet available, but you can pick that up for Windows, for Macintosh, for who says Macintosh? For Mac, and for Linux yourselves. And they have just added support for Bitcoin Cash, for Ethereum Classic, and for Salt lending tokens because of huge demand that has come in the form of people asking for that. Also, I believe somebody here in the chat, I saw out of the corner of my eye, said that PIVX has been added, PIVX, to the Ledger Nano. So some positive news there if you're holding a Ledger and want to store your PIVX coins somewhere secure and safe. Nowhere safer than hardware wallets usually, but if you use that software wallet Exodus upgrade, it's also implementing much faster Ethereum, Bitcoin, transfers and that kind of implementations as well. They've added a lot of good upgrades to their software, so definitely get that upgraded for yourself. Or if you still have your funds on Coinbase or another exchange very similar and you want to finally hold your private keys, Exodus isn't a bad place to go. You also have other options like the Jax wallet, which are also great. Next up, we are going to cover the Dutch bank, ING, who talked about the extreme prices that people are paying on the Bitcoin network per transaction, really. The cost of electricity for one transaction and how that equates to about 200 kilowatts per hour, or about 200 washing cycles, this bank said in a paper they recently wrote, or enough to power this person's house in the Netherlands for a whole month for just one transaction on the Bitcoin network at the price of 200 kilowatts per hour, which is pretty steep. And how they talked about how fiat currencies will continue, or paper currencies, local currencies will continue to be the way that people will pay their taxes and get paid by jobs. So take that for what it is, and I wanted to share that with you. Also, we'll talk about Jameson Lopp, and Jameson Lopp has been a BitGold developer and somebody who's always very active on Twitter. I've covered some of his content here on the show for you before, Lopp with 2 P's, and somebody went ahead and put a phone call to the SWAT team, or to the police rather, saying that they had already shot 15 people in his house. There was a hostage situation at Jameson Lopp's place, and that there were explosives at the door. If any police member tried to even come through the door, they would get shot on sight unless they had bags of money. And Jameson Lopp basically had his house surrounded by 12 armed SWAT people, and he basically told him, hey, this is completely wrong. And this was apparently an attack by people who disagreed with his opinions and his side of the debate in the SegWit2x hard fork debate and what direction Bitcoin should take in the future. And somebody did an anonymous call and put his life in grave danger. And we'll definitely cover that a little bit, and we'll finish up with a quote of the day. So hopefully you enjoyed this quick wrap up of what we'll be speaking about, since some people prefer quick news. But now let's get into the nice juicy details, guys, and we'll do also a nice live stream here with you and get comments from you guys. So Bob Orr says, Yomar hype. Greenlight Hawaii says swatted. Indeed. What's cracking, everybody? Crypto after party in the house. Scorpion Lopez says first. Man. Anthony, if we have Bitcoin on exchanges, will we get BitGold and SegWit2x? It really depends on the exchange. BitGold, I'll go ahead and say very, very unlikely you will be getting that. However, SegWit2x, I know Coinbase is going to offer both versions of Bitcoin. So it really depends on your exchange. So do your research, guys. So let's get into the news. For legit skis, guys. Thanks again for the support, for being here in the live stream. Be sure to hit the like button if you're enjoying the live stream and you want to shoot some love this way, guys. Thanks, Michael Holiday. He just donated $2 super chat saying, I like your style, Omar. Well, I like yours, bro, because you're always here giving support and encouraging words on the show, and you guys don't even know how much that means. Every single nice word of support. So thank you for that, Michael. You're always doing that as well. So let's see here. So this is what's up with Eric Finman. Bitcoin billionaire has challenged Jamie Dimon to a boxing match. So basically, this is a person who became a millionaire, young entrepreneur, Eric Finman, who put in May 2011 $1,000, only $1,000, which I guess if you're really young is a lot of money, but $1,000 into Bitcoin and is now a millionaire. And so he has vowed to challenge Jamie Dimon to a boxing match and donate $100,000 to Puerto Rico, as we mentioned before. So what he says is, if Jamie can't predict when he's going to shut his own mouth about Bitcoin, how can he predict that it will fail? And this is the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, who recently said that Bitcoin is a fraud. So he says, Jamie Dimon, why don't you try being a good person for once and join me in the ring? I'll take it easy on you, and I won't knock you out with one punch. He's like kind of a skinny dude. It's kind of lanky, so it's pretty funny. He's confident. And I'll personally donate $100,000 to Puerto Rico if he joined me in the ring. He can donate money. Of course he can. He's got money. But he doesn't have to, as it seems like he's not a very good person. We could sell tickets to it, that is the event, and donate all the proceeds to Puerto Rico, but I don't think Dimon will do it. I think he's too weak. When you think of Wall Street scumbag people, think of individuals like Jamie Dimon. He is the epitome of Wall Street scumbag. So I wish in a way that Jamie Dimon actually goes ahead and says, yeah, let's go ahead and box. And that would actually make him look better to not just the Bitcoin community, but to the community and the world as a whole, if he's able to help Puerto Rico and take an ego out of it and take some time out of that. So hopefully that actually does happen. I think it would be a great fight. And if there's some promoter out there like Jerry Weintraub who wants to go ahead and pick up this boxing match and make it happen at Times Square, I think you'll be able to sell a lot of tickets, and that would be very, very exciting, guys. Okay, guys, so decentralized. We got a $50 donation. Thank you so much, brother. Paying that subscription fee. Bro, you pay that subscription fee every single episode, guys. Thank you so much, Decentralized. You're the man, bro. Like, you're like the biggest Patreon of this channel, as well as everybody else who follows us on Patreon. Thank you so much, guys. But you're like here every single day donating, so thank you. Also, if you are having some sort of issues, guys, with the live stream, I'll have this video up later on with timestamps, with sources, and the live stream will be made private, but you'll be able to watch this video without any issues. I apologize about the streaming issues we're having right now, but we'll get that fixed for you. So, yeah! Let's check some quick comments here we got in the chat. It's always fun to see stuff. Jordette says, Jamie Dimon is adorable. God bless his pointed little head. Oh, man. I gotta, like, look at his head now and see if it's actually pointed. Hodler's Holler says, decentralized dude is back. He's back, man. He's back. I don't know if you guys ever saw that balloon shop video. He's back. Yeah, he's always here, Hodlers. He's like, and Rogue Planet and Cameron Schroeder. You guys is always here, yo. Okay, a Mudcoff says, hey, Crypto, did you use IDEX? Heard about them from you. Worth to have a second glance. I have tried to look at IDEX a few times, but I found that they didn't have the coins that I was trying to pick up at the time. So maybe they've gotten better, and I like IDEX. Decentralized exchange, much lower fees and much faster. I like the idea. I'm going to have to check it out. Thanks again for the reminder, brother. Okay, guys, definitely check out IDEX, Decentralized Ethereum Exchange, if you'd like to see how, if you want to pick up some coins without relying on a centralized party like maybe Bitfinex, which is going to be the next topic that we're going to cover right now. Represent for the Dash t-shirt. He donated €2. Thank you, man. Yeah, actually, and I want to give a big thank you to Mark Mason, one of the big community managers who had me out to for the Dash conference earlier in London that I live streamed for you guys. And he sent me over like must have been every Dash shirt in existence. He really goes overboard. Really great guy. Mark Mason, shout outs to you, brother. Give him a shout out on Twitter from me, Mark Mason. And yeah, I mean, my favorite one is like, she wants the D. I think it's hilarious. So yeah, I'll be wearing probably Dash shirts more often just because I have so many of them now. And I like Dash. I like what they're doing. But, you know, I also love a lot of coins. I love Ethereum. I love Bitcoin. I love it all. I'm just rooting for the whole space to grow in an honest way. And these are some of the coins I definitely... Oh, we took off the sign for Bitfinex. But yes, Bitfinex. So this is what we're going to talk about, Bitfinex. Bitfinex... Guys, share the stream, share it on Twitter, share it on Steemit, share it on Facebook. Steemit's the best. You can probably monetize it by sharing the live stream. And yeah, let's get this party going. So Bitfinex, apparently they're finally shutting their doors down to US customers for good by November 9th. So yes, they are not getting enough volume as far as this Hong Kong-based exchange from US customers, while they're spending substantial resources in order to provide services and support to people who are in the United States. So it's just not worth it to support United States is what they say. And it might be possible that they're getting a lot of scrutiny from various agencies here in the United States, such as the CFTC, or the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, which gave them about a $75,000 fine for offering illegal off-exchange financed retail commodity transactions and failing to register as a CFTC merchant. So if you're in the United States and you are going to be doing things like off-exchange finance retail commodity transactions, so basically selling on the side to other people and not having it right on there, then you need to register with the CFTC because that is under their jurisdiction. And they failed to do that, so there's your fine. So they don't want to have to deal with that, and that's fair. There are places that are a little bit more open to this kind of thing, such as maybe even Hong Kong, I believe Singapore, maybe even Switzerland, that you can get away with a little bit more than you might be able to here in the United States or in Europe. So I mean, it's not surprising. They put out a blog post earlier where they were going to be shutting this down. So definitely get your coins out of there ASAP. Don't wait too long. And they were an exchange, just a little bit of backstory there, that suffered a hack that kind of crashed the market. A big one for the course of the summer last year, if I'm correct. It was the summer. And they got hacked to the tune of about $70 million. And when Bitcoin was around only a $10 billion market cap, that's a lot of money. And this scared the community a lot, right? People were thinking they were going to shut down their doors for good. What are going to happen to my funds? And this goes to showcase why you should definitely be careful when you are keeping your money on a centralized exchange such as Bitfinex in regards to your funds. And they basically gave people a bunch of these BFX tokens and said, okay, we're going to raise the money to get your money back. We're going to shave off, I believe it was 55% of your funds, because that's the amount of money that got hacked, whether you were holding Bitcoin or not. If you were holding Ether, if you were holding something else, they shaved off all the money in your account. 55% give you these BFX tokens, and they said we'll replace them over time, which eventually they did, but it was very unnerving for a lot of people who had their funds there. We got another donation in the house. We got a donation from, I believe. Oh, no, never mind. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. But thank you guys for being here in the chat. So, yeah, they're also creating something called Ethfinix, which is a decentralized, it's ultimately going to be, that is, a decentralized Ethereum exchange. Ethfinix or Ethfinix. And it makes me wonder, are they going to be able to offer those services for smart contract-based Ethereum token trading to US customers? Probably not at first, since they are going to stay relatively centralized, as they said in their roadmap for the beginning parts of it, keep the training wheels on, right? And then eventually, ultimately, make it so that it runs itself, and then I'm sure US customers will be able to access it. So hopefully they can get that available sooner than later. Let me know what you guys think. Are we going to be able to use Ethfinix? What do you think about Bitfinex? Is it right that they're doing this? Are they going to lose a lot of customers? Let me know. Do you guys still use Bitfinex? If not, what other options do you guys have? Let's go check the live stream real quick for some commentary in regards to that. How long has this channel been live, says Servato? I believe we've been live for like since 45, so 25 minutes. I think we've been live actually right now, about that length. Oh, let's see what else. Omar is very clear in his wording. That actually means a lot, Blake's Gone Bananas. I sometimes wonder how articulate or well I can convey the information. So that is a very kind compliment. Thank you for that. I joined the space after Gox. Really glad I missed that mess, says Adam in DFW. Likewise. I mean, Mount Gox, that was the first major crash. They managed to get the price for Bitcoin up from nothing all the way up to $1,300+ before crashing and disappearing and people losing all their funds. So that was kind of a disaster, man. And I remember hearing in the news myself about that and thinking, okay, Bitcoin does kind of suck, right? Look at this kind of crap. And then I managed to get right at the bottom, but that was a scary time if you were involved. That's why I'm such a big, I followed Bitcoin since back then. It's very interesting to look at how these decentralized exchanges are coming about, and they definitely are the future, guys. Okay, let's see what else we got here. IDEX is garbage, says Sam Turner. I support both sides of criticism, so definitely don't just look at the positive news. But I wonder why you think it's garbage, Sam. Does anybody else think it's garbage? My goal is know everything Omar talks about before the talk. Shows me I'm up on the news. That's such an interesting thing to say, man. Yeah, I guess you're doing well, but you don't need to be here except to be part of the community. And I appreciate you actually here, even though you know the news already. Good stuff. And then call me out if I'm saying something wrong. And which centralized exchange hasn't been hacked, says JD Richter. Actually, I don't think like Bittrex has been hacked yet. There are a few of them. I don't know if Binance has been hacked. I don't think they've been hacked. Bittrex is having some issues right now in regards to verification. And if you're not verified, you can't take your funds off of there. So if you were there before and you weren't verified, now I hear you might have issues and people are concerned about Bittrex. So not a hack, but always, even for the best exchanges, not a good place to keep a lot of money on there, guys. Your show is just like an online meetup for me, says Decentralized. That's such a good, I mean, that's how I look at these live streams for sure, man. So I'm glad you see it the same way I do. Drink a beer with Omar, says Adam. I'm not having a beer today, but anybody's welcome to drink whatever you'd like to. And last comment here. Hannah says, Omar, watching your videos are the best part of my day. Aw, thanks. From when Bitcoin wasn't $1,000 till now. Damn, you've been around for a while, yeah. Thanks for all the information. You are the best and represents the crypto space well. We got to stay honest, guys. We can't be pumping coins here and taking money from ICOs. We do have to keep the space honest. So I'm sure there are other channels out there, but that's what we try to do here with the channel. So thanks a lot, Hannah. Appreciate that. Okay, next up with the news, guys. We're going to roll right along straight into the CFTC and the the Commodity Future Trading Commission and the recent primer that was published yesterday on virtual currencies, where they outlined the basics of currencies and they talked about what Bitcoin is, what a blockchain is, like everybody else does in their papers. This was actually, I'm going to put a link below, of course, later on. This was actually a pretty concise paper. and it was pretty well worded. I actually enjoyed looking through it and reading through it. So let me let you know about some of the things that were interesting in there. Let's see. So they talked about how there are no inconsistencies between the Security Exchange Commission's analysis, or the SEC's analysis here in the United States, and the CFTC's determination that virtual currencies are commodities, like gold or property, and that virtual tokens may be commodities or derivative contracts, depending on the particular facts and circumstances. So this virtual currency might be a security, or it might be a commodity or derivative, whatever it is. So they said the CFTC looks beyond form, so beyond just being a digital asset, and considers the actual substance and the purpose of an activity when applying the federal commodities laws and the CFTC regulations. So that's good. They're looking on a per case basis, which I enjoy, instead of saying all virtual currencies are commodities or illegal or are going to be oversought or overseen by us. So the CFTC has oversight, in particular, over futures, options, like I think the price is going to hit this on a certain day, so really kind of bets, and derivatives contracts, so printing more Bitcoin than actually exists and selling those on exchanges, which we don't want at all. The CFTC's jurisdiction is implicated when a virtual currency is used in a derivatives contract, or if there is fraud or manipulation involving a virtual currency trading in interstate commerce. Beyond instances of fraud or manipulation, the CFTC generally does not oversee spot or cash market exchanges, so the current price of Bitcoin, kind of trading that or any other currency, and transactions involving virtual currencies that do not utilize margin, leveraging, or financing, so borrowing what you do not have. So they're definitely boxing themselves in here and saying this is what we do and this is what we do not. So I respect that, and it looks like they're trying to actually keep the space honest. One of the good actual, and it's rare for me to say that one part of government is doing something well, but actually I kind of respect this. Certain schemes involving virtual currency marketed to retail customers, such as off-exchange finance commodity transactions with persons who failed to register with the CFTC. So, for example, Bitfinex, and how they got their fine for doing certain things that might have been shady off of the exchange. And they talked about the DAO. So if you remember when Ethereum crashed, because Ethereum was around, I think, like $10. I remember what the price was early last year. And then this really complex smart contract called the DAO. You're going to hear about that everywhere. You're going to see t-shirts. And the DAO it stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. So this was really the first major DAO built on smart contracts, which is a business or a corporation comprised of everybody owning it and getting to vote with their tokens on what direction the company goes, whether we will fund a lot of the money that we've raised with the DAO to fund this proposal, almost like masternodes do with Dash. They give money to people who make proposals in order to do things that benefit either Dash or, in this case, the DAO that was built on Ethereum. This was in Ethereum's early days, though, and a lot of the developers who were involved in Ethereum knew it was kind of too complex for what it was. It had an issue where it got kind of hacked, and that eventually led to the creation of Ethereum Classic, because you're going to hear people say that the theft was rolled back on the official Ethereum chain, so Ethereum hard forked in order to pretend that didn't happen. That's what you're going to hear from some sources, although you hear from people saying that, this shouldn't have happened in the first place. And Ethereum Classic was spawned, and they said, morally, we think it's wrong. If we're making immutable code on the Ethereum network, it should be immutable. And you guys messed up that smart contract. It got hacked. And a lot of people lost a lot of money on the official Ethereum network. So the DAO basically got destroyed and ceased to exist. But they had like no cap. They were raising tons of money from all around the world. And the Securities and Exchange Commission, or the SEC, came out with a report earlier, we covered in this channel, where they said that the DAO, those tokens, if you were holding them, were definitely securities, because if you were holding shares of that company, of the DAO, like you were going to get dividends or some compensation through those tokens eventually, and that's what they label as securities. And so that would have been illegal in the United States had they not registered with the SEC. Now they said, you know what? We're going to let this pass, everybody involved with DAO, but be careful next time. Now we're seeing there are a lot of different DAO organizations come about, or even platforms to build your own DAO, such as the Aragon Network, which is interesting these days and how they're working with regulations. But This was definitely covered in the FTC article and how those are securities under federal laws. So definitely be careful, guys, if you're going to get involved with any sort of DAO, whether you're building it or investing in it. If you're in the United States and you want to be safe, be careful for Ponzi schemes that do exist. I won't name some of the ones that currently exist that are kind of popular. I think BitPetty actually is one that's becoming very popular right now. I don't know if it's a Ponzi scheme or a pyramid scheme, but it's one of those names I keep hearing a lot. So definitely do your due diligence before throwing money at something that says, we're going to hold your tokens for a set amount of time, and then you send out referral links to your link, and then you're going to get more from whatever they give. That is pretty much the definition of a Ponzi scheme, when you have people at the top getting more dividends based on people under them. And so that could be labeled as illegal by the SEC. Be careful with scams, be careful with anything that's trying to manipulate you, and do all your due diligence, guys. Just some nice tips there if you're relatively new to the space. And if you've been around, you know that this is definitely the case. Let's take some quick comments here from the crowd. What's a good start, says Mark, to invest in coins? Also, how do I choose which ICO to involve myself in? Let's see. That's such a good question. And it's really based on your experience. So what's a good start to invest in coins? Invest in what you know. Do all of the research you can on whatever coin, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum. If you haven't even started to invest in those, do all of the research you can in just those and wait a while is my suggestion. And then try to find out who are the people you respect in those communities, because you read and you decide from your own perspectives and experience through time. These are really cool leaders in this space. And then try to find out what they're involved in and what they say about different projects. I say that's one of the best ways, is follow the good leaders who've been around for a long time. Be wary of people who are new to the space. Be wary of people who promise you huge growth really, really quick. Be wary of anything that is centralized. Try to keep things in the smart contract realm as much as possible. And yeah, I mean, and Bitcoin Talk, Reddit, Twitter, there's some great places to find that kind of information. Let's see. Flat Favor says, Omar, is there an overview page for Ponzi scheme coins listed, like on Reddit or something? I actually don't know that. Does anybody know if there's a good reference where you can see all of what possibly are Ponzi schemes right now? And if you make it that website, I think that would be great of you if it doesn't currently exist, you or anybody else on this channel. That's a good opportunity for sure. Just like the person who told me, wouldn't it be great if, to help people who do want to evade taxes or make their coins hidden, they will literally, you create an application on smart contracts or whatever it is that takes all of your Ethereum tokens or other tokens and converts them into Monero and then spits them back out into Ethereum? Like a mixer. I think that would be an interesting app. If you guys can make that, I think, and sell that for $5, I think you'd be pretty rich actually yourself. Okay, so let's continue moving. Oh, Patrick says, I don't have anything productive to say. I just want to appear on the stream. Now you're on the stream, Patrick. And Phil has an interesting point here. Number one Ponzi is the Federal Reserve. All I'm going to say is look at the book down in the description below, The Creature from Jekyll Island, and we'll see whether you're too far off in that comment or not. Moving up, guys. Yeah, I've been actually demonetized quite a bit these days on YouTube. Maybe it's for the content I'm talking about, or maybe some curse words here in the language. So let's try to keep it civil, people. But yeah, thanks for all the support, guys. It means a lot, especially when YouTube hasn't been supporting. Well, I have to request a manual review, and that really takes away from any sort of monetization I can make over these videos, since it can take up to 7 days for them to review these videos to see if I'm cursing or showing nudity or something on this channel. That's happening to almost every video of mine these days. Okay, guys, so support your YouTubers. It's a pitch there. Next up, let's talk about the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. So we briefly covered this earlier, which is that the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, which is a consortium or a group of many companies around the world who are coming together to talk about the best practices for building smart contracts to help their businesses together on the Ethereum network, or to use the Ethereum's technology to create some sort of fork of the Ethereum network and do things that are going to help. Whoa, dude, we got another huge donation from Decentralized. It says, fuck YouTube. Oh, I said it out loud. I guess it doesn't matter if I get demonetized in this one, since you pretty much gave me more in that one donation, and in both donations together, $250 that I would have made through YouTube. So, dude, you're like the biggest sponsor of this channel. I need like a Decentralized shirt. Dude, thank you. Sorry, I had to take time out of the news just to say thanks to Decentralized. Man, 200. Anyway, So yes, these companies coming together, and they now have 200 member companies as of the latest integrations of companies that have come on board. They just added 48 more, including Hewlett Packard Enterprise, the guys who make all of the computers that we probably used before but don't anymore. The more you learn about technology and learn that they're not the fastest, but they are sold all over the world, Hewlett Packard machines and printers and copiers and fax machines. So they're one of the biggest hardware manufacturers out there. So that's big, and how they can help the Ethereum network to grow. That's wonderful. Also, I don't know how to pronounce this. If you're in Russia, maybe you can help me out later on. Sber, S-B-E-R Bank, the biggest Russian bank and the first one to join the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance. And they've talked about how they've already put together 2 proof of concepts using the blockchain. One for a smart letter of credit and another for a letter of guarantee using this Ethereum technology. And they have just come on board. You can find the whole list at the link I'll put below. The Dash Core Group, has just come on board as well. The EEA is kind of the biggest group looking at blockchain together. And I don't know how they're going to hold their meetings. I believe they now have 14 working member groups that meet up together to talk about various things to help their various industries and to brainstorm ideas and how they're going to meet in different rooms with so many people joining. And the EEA is an industry-supported, not-for-profit established to build, promote, and broadly support Ethereum-based technology best practices, open standards, and open source reference architectures. I like that. Open source, open standards, best practices, not-for-profit. Good words here. Formed earlier this year, the EEA is helping to evolve Ethereum into an enterprise-grade technology, including providing research and development in a range of areas, including privacy, confidentiality, scalability, and security. The EEA is also, and this is what's radical here that I wanted to share, is also investigating hybrid architectures, this is from their site, that span both permissioned, so private blockchains, and public Ethereum networks, as well as industry-specific application layer working groups. So, I mean, they're working not just for the private benefit of forks, but they're working for hybrid architectures that could plug in to the public Ethereum network. Meaning if these companies build like their own private fork, sure, to help themselves, but they want to eventually talk to another company that has their own private chain, then they might build a hybrid architecture that also connects the public network, paying that network fees and helping that network to prosper and to create literally a public architecture for the world. So more and more, that idea of Ethereum becoming the fabric of the Internet of Things. Look up the Internet of Things in Wikipedia if you haven't already, and it is really what got me excited about Ethereum in the first place for what it's doing. And that seems to be coming true every single day more and more. So really good news here, guys. Somebody said they're looking only at my dog, and I wish I could only look at him. So I have to move through this video so I can get back to playing with Homeboy over here and editing this video for you guys. So moving up, let's get into the news. Let me know what you guys think right now. Let's actually get some quick chat comments. We'll do that in between the news. I love to engage you guys. It's a community, and we share this news together. It is like a meetup for me. So let's see. Donnie Martinez says a big thank you to Decentralized, who's the biggest baller on this channel, no doubt. Rogue Planet says, L, look on Meetup for climbing. I'm sure, okay, because my girlfriend likes to climb, so she's looking for a meetup. I just read comments. I don't even scan them first. Don Goddard says, thanks, Omar. You are the man. No, you're the man. And you are the women, guys. Seriously. You support this channel. That's amazing. That's enough for me. That's enough. That's enough. Have you, another Balloon Shop reference if you've watched those guys on YouTube. Have you heard anything new in regards to replay protection for Bitcoin Gold? Ding it, I haven't, but I'll try to do that for tomorrow's video. Love to hear that, L. Okay, did you tell Wallace to stay there? No, I don't tell him to stay there. He just loves me, and he loves to stand behind me for the videos, and he loves to follow me around the house. That's how Wallace is. He's a great guy. He's just a good guy. I usually give him a rawhide to play with, but I guess he finished it. I wish I hadn't listened to Tone Vase and sold all my Ethereum at $50, which I'd bought at $7. Damn, Jeffrey. But I'm sure you bought back in. Tone is a donkey. Okay, we're not gonna get too negative here. We'll try to keep things positive. Tone has a good trading analysis when it comes to Bitcoin, but he doesn't really shed good light on other coins for sure. So that's why I look at him for when it comes to Bitcoin news. But when it comes to other news, there are other places I look for that news. But yes, I like to look at what people are good at and what they're specializing in. Tone, I feel like, doesn't like to look at a lot of these coins, and therefore he doesn't even follow the news and the developments as much, so maybe he doesn't keep as up to date. Thanks for the... Yeah, I had this director's chair in my trunk forever to shoot these videos. I mean, for months, but I've never used it, and I got a new car, and I was looking to take stuff out of the car, and now I'm using the director's chair, so that's why. Ryzen 3, it's always good to have you, man. Thank you for the support. You're always around too, man. So next up, let's see what we got here. Exodus. So the Exodus wallet, which we briefly covered again before, and they have just done a major upgrade they talked about in a blog post for you guys, if you enjoy the Exodus wallet. So they have just added Bitcoin Cash, they added Salt, as in the Salt lending platform token, and they have finally added Ethereum Classic for you to be able to store that in that software wallet, which works across various desktop wallets, including Linux, Windows, and Mac. So now that brings up the total number of assets that you can store on your Exodus wallet to 16. And they really do a lot of due diligence and deep work before they add a coin. They want to make sure that the coins are in a lot in demand, that people want to store these coins, that they're high up market cap wise and have a lot of potential, so that they don't have to worry about removing this coin in the future and having so many support tickets for so many different coins. So I do like that. And they've talked about how there has been demand massively from these customers recently saying, hey, we really want to have our Ethereum Classic. Can you finally listen to us? We really want our Bitcoin Cash on there. Can you listen to us? So they've done this upgrade. And they are one of the more reputable wallets that allows you to export your private keys. And they've been around for a while and trusted. So if you can't afford yourself a hardware wallet like the Ledger Nano S, which I always put a link to in the description below, and I thank all of you guys who continue to buy them, not just for yourself, but to your loved ones, to help secure your stuff, which never show your private keys, and therefore you just plug them in. You can always restore them. They're beautiful devices. But if you can't afford that yet, or you don't have enough skin in the game yet in order to really worry about losing maybe $60 because you have one of these devices. I mean, if you have a sizable amount, I recommend highly hardware wallet, as most do. But for now, you want to get a good software wallet. Exodus, I hear, is a wonderful wallet, always innovating, always listening to the community. And they have just also done with this upgrade some big speed improvements when receiving Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, and all Ethereum or ERC20 built tokens. And they have also implemented preparations for the hard fork that is coming up for Bitcoin. So getting that nice and ready. So make sure you upgrade your software if you haven't, or get the latest software. And if you were holding QTUM tokens there previously, they will still show up there in your wallet, but they'll be hidden by default now if you don't have any QTUM tokens yet in your wallet. So I don't know if that means they're phasing out QTUM or what, but yeah, that's just some of the updates going on right now. Let's get another set of quick comments from you guys. Adam Akolea has a good one. Where? I can't see it. Oh, hey Crypto, what's a good number of coins to hold for a diverse portfolio, and how do you stop yourself buying into everything that looks good? Is it better to put in a little? Okay, is it better to put a little in a lot or more in less? That's actually a really good question. And we covered a lot of these questions in the video we recorded yesterday, the intro to crypto video, but since that's not up yet, I will gladly answer that to the best that I can right now. And let us know as well in the chat what you guys think, or in the comments later on. But a good number to have, I would say, is only what you have done all of the due diligence you can. So read white papers. That's what I'm saying. Just read white papers, look at the teams, go dive into their Slack or message boards and get a feel for the community. Do you feel like it's positive? Do you think that it's something revolutionary that doesn't have a lot of competition? That's something I look for a lot these days, which is, you have how many platforms that are building insurance? No offense if you are yourself. Insurance on the Ethereum network. There's a lot of them. And so you want to be hopefully something like, I heard about a dude who's doing veterinarian insurance in Russia recently. I can't remember the name of his platform, but that was new. So look for something new that you haven't heard of before, and then do your due diligence on the team, read their white paper, make sure that they have a good business plan, a good decentralized roadmap, make sure that they've been involved for a while. So that's a good thing to do. And then hold those coins. I would say that. Because to hold most of those coins, you're going to have to get rid of some of the main players, right? So if you're holding some Bitcoin or Ether, you're going to have to get rid of those generally, unless you spend more of your fiat, which definitely encourage to do get rid of fiat. But you know, you want to hold the coins you believe in. So you're probably holding some Bitcoin or Ethereum, and you're going to have to get rid of more and more Ether or Bitcoin to get these coins. And these coins might go down in value over time. They might never produce a project. So that would stink, right? Instead, I feel like Ethereum, Bitcoin, these are coins that have so much momentum coming, and these pullbacks are very positive, like we're getting right now. I hear, for example, that the next target for Bitcoin is $6,000 to $7,000, and we needed this pullback to the nice support level of 5,000 before we could launch up. How scary it would have been if it had just launched straight up to $7,000, because then it would have been a real bad pullback. So you know, you don't want to miss out on these profits. So for me, every single thing I look at now is like, do I really want to let go of this Ether that I'm holding right now? Or like I get really, really excited. I'm like, yeah, I don't mind giving away this Ether. You know, just that's a feel thing for me. It's it has to both feel good and it has to look good on paper. I would say that's a really good thing. And meeting these people in person at conferences or looking at their stands and how they present themselves is another good way to get a good look at their image. I wouldn't recommend diving into many of these coins just right away. For example, I had heard of Salt Lending. One that just finished their ICO that I invested in was called Viewly, view.ly. And I heard back at Freedom Fest that they were going to be one of the major coins. So I have been doing my research since back then. So that's why I bought these. I've been looking at them for some time in advance. And is it better to put in a little in a lot or more in less? I would say more in less. That's called dollar cost averaging, which is usually the best way to invest, which is you invest a little bit over time. I, on Coinbase, have instant buys. You can do that on Coinbase.com, where I automatically spend $20 and I buy Bitcoin every week. It's not much, but I have had that going since I don't even know how long. So it's on autopilot for me to invest in Bitcoin. And instead of throwing $10,000 today because you're really excited, for example, maybe not yourself, but anybody listening to this, you're really excited about the coin, you just found out about Bitcoin, instead of throwing $10,000 right away, and then the price crashes because it had been going up already, then you're going to feel really bad about that. So you'll feel a lot better if you just, you blur out all the lines and ups and downs, and you just think, you know what, no matter what, I'm going to put in $50 a week or $100 a week or $1,000 a week if you can put that in there based on whatever exchange you're using. And I feel like you're going to be more optimistic in that sense. You're not going to feel as negative, and you're going to do really, really well, especially if it's for the main coins. So next up, guys, that was a long question, so I'll just keep moving up. A good but long question. So kilowatt hour estimation. So this was another interesting paper put out by, what was the name? This Dutch bank. Let me see what their name is. Sorry, I brought down my screen. Dutch ING Bank, I believe they're called. Yes. So the Dutch bank ING, and they talked about how much electricity is required to produce a single Bitcoin trade and how it could power this person who put out this paper, their house, for a whole month in the Netherlands. So they talked about how you have all these trusted miners and nodes that are validating transactions on these blockchain networks. And to make the verification or mining costly, the verification algorithm requires a lot of processing power and thus electricity. And not only does Bitcoin use a vast amount of electricity to complete transactions, it uses an almost exponentially larger amount than more traditional forms of electronic payment. So one single Bitcoin transaction costs about 200 kilowatt per hour, as you can see in the chart if you're looking at the screen, which could power his Netherlands home for a month or allow for 200 washer cycles of laundry. And he points out their Visa would be about 0.01 but you have this centralized party and you have to trust them to do everything right, and that the whole fiat system isn't troubling, right? That it's not uncertain right now. So take that for what it is. But yeah, they can process a lot of transactions per second. We're trying to catch up with these blockchain networks. Ethereum at 37 kilowatts per hour spent per transaction per block, and 200 on Bitcoin, because you have more and more people mining it, more and more electricity coming out to produce all these transactions trying to fit in one block. So in the future, we're going to be able to have hopefully a lot of transactions in a block, and that'll reduce this number so it doesn't look so bad. And Bitcoin's energy Cost in stark contrast to payment systems that have the luxury of working with trusted counterparties, they say. For example, Visa, and they take about 0.01 or 10 watts per hour per transaction, which is 20,000 times less energy than a Bitcoin transaction. So they say that fiat money is still the final form of settlement, and that governments still collect taxes in fiat money, and salaries are still paid in fiat money, and there's a reason for that. We got a donation here in the house. It's from Sven van Nieuwenhuizen. Nieuwenhuizen. I hope I said that right, brother. You are the crypto that cryptocurrency needs. Aw, thank you. But not the one that it deserves right now. I don't know, man. I feel like the fact that I get comments like this right now, I feel so happy to be here with you. I don't know. I don't know. I feel we all deserve this. I think the world deserves transparency and truth and honesty, and that's what we try to bring here with this community. But thank you a lot for that donation. 10, what is that, euro? Is it euro? I don't think it's euro. I'm not sure, brother, but thank you so much for the donation. Anything always helps, guys. As we said, with this demonetization we're always getting from YouTube. But I'll keep bringing the news regardless. And make sure you follow me on steemit.com. @crypto is where I'm at. And for those of you who don't, in the case that YouTube were ever to just completely take me off for whatever reason, even though I work with YouTube and I try to shoot stuff at their place, you never really know, then I will post my videos somewhere else and put them on Steemit. But you'll always find them on Steemit. Or sign up for the newsletter on my site, and I'll let you know. And go to cryptosnews.com, and you will be able to sign up for my newsletter. And I never send information. I don't think I probably sent one email out to people. It's not even a newsletter. It's more like if stuff happens that's grave that you need to know about, I'm going to write out something and you'll know where to find me. So Jason Pierce, $2 from Jason. Thank you so much, man. Jason Pierce. Thanks, brother. That's a cool Star Trek thing you have there. Icon you have there. Okay, so let's keep moving forward here. What do you guys think about electricity and Bitcoin? Do you think that this is a good case, for example, for staking networks that don't mine and use that much electricity in order to have computers on, and therefore don't cost that much resources? Because, I mean, it is pretty expensive to produce a transaction. But, I mean, renewable resources are making energy cheaper. A lot of places in the world subsidize electricity, have more electricity than they know what to do with, such as in many districts in small towns in China. And let me know. What do you guys think? Is he right that this is wasteful cryptocurrency and that fiat is going to be the money of the future? Or is he wrong? I would love to know your opinion on that matter. SWAT teams. So this is great. This is actually not great, actually. So this is kind of scary. I just like the picture. I always like SWAT. I wanted to be a SWAT member when I was young. You know, a BA, a BAMF dude who walks into places and takes down the bad guys and drops in banks to, you know, do cool stuff. But anyway, so there was a call to the police. This was actually a tweet that was put out by Jameson Lopp, who we've talked about on this channel quite a few times. He put this out on Twitter where he said, "Dear anonymous coward who just sent dozens of cops with rifles to my house with a false hostage situation report, I'm not so easily intimidated." Which is respectable, because what happened to him was pretty intimidating. And he has been a vocal personality on Twitter and all over social media in regards to the fork debate and conversation as to where Bitcoin should go moving into November with this SegWit2x thing that I'm sure many of you guys follow or are beginning to follow and understand. So he's a BitGo engineer. And, oh, did we get another donation here? Yeah, Tristan Slutter. Thank you, Tristan. I appreciate that, man. Mr. Sluter or Slutter. I'm going to go with Sluter. Mr. Sluter. Thank you so much, Sluter. Okay, yeah. So he basically, what happened was that somebody anonymously called the police, and they said that somebody in Jameson Lopp's house, who obviously is a Bitcoin dude, he's been around for a long time and has a lot of money, and so it's not uncommon that people who are vocal in this community and personalities who have been around for a while can be attacked on social media or even in real life for their funds. It can be dangerous to be somebody out there. And so they said that he has been shot 15 times, somebody in his house, and that there were explosives on the front door. And if a cop tried to come close without bags of money, they would be shot on sight. And yeah, this person masked their voice and disguised it. and the SWAT team swarmed his home after emergency medical services, a mobile command, and bulletproof vested police cordoned off Mr. Lopp's neighborhood. So luckily, Jameson Lopp was able to get the information to the cops to actually calm the situation and explain what was really happening. But this is really dangerous because if you read the Malcolm Gladwell book Blink, I highly recommend you read that book. He talks a lot, I believe it was in that book, actually, it was that book. He talks about how the heart rate, and the higher that is, the more that increases cortisol levels or stress levels inside of the body, and it clouds the brain, all this adrenaline. It's like people slow down, especially, most officers have never even fired a bullet in their lives. When they do, they've talked about how time seems to literally slow down for them, but they couldn't really think, they're just reacting. And so, in these kind of heightened moments, it's scary, right? Especially if you're protecting yourself, you have a family, and you're an officer, to go into a place that you think has a bomb and possibly an armed person inside and not shoot. So luckily, Jameson came out with his life. But people on social media are saying that this was an attack on his life. I mean, this was an attempted murder Even if it wasn't intentional, somebody could have gotten seriously hurt, even if nothing was really happening in Jameson Lopp's house. So it's dangerous to think that we've hit such new lows inside of this debate, which not just on social media, but it's also in real life where people's lives are at risk, and it's really scary to think of. But yeah, luckily Jameson Lopp says, "I'm not intimidated," as he stared into a camera defiantly and said, "This is actually, from my perspective, evidence that people who want to do this do not have the guts to say anything to my face. They don't have the guts to come here and actually tell me what their problem is." So good stuff there, guys. Oh yeah, Hollyfield 6 says auditory exclusion, as far as in regards to how, what's that called, that phenomenon, I suppose. If he was black, says Living Off Cryptos, they might have accidentally killed him. That's one of the, Malcolm Gladwell, a writer, actually served him once at a restaurant I worked at, really prolific writer. He is black, and so he uses cases from all around, not just black people, to showcase this kind of evidence. But yeah, it's happened a lot with black people, and explains it. I mean, with people all around the world. But honestly, it's just like getting your heart beat up and freaking out and not sure what's happening. I won't talk about the example in the book about the gentleman who ran off, who really wasn't doing anything wrong, but he also panicked because he saw officers who weren't dressed like officers get out of a car and approach him when he was on a stoop late at night when there weren't many people around in a dangerous area of Brooklyn. He was just a shop owner, and he was panicked. So he thought he was going to get beat up by people with bats or something. So he ran off. The cops all panicked, and it ended with, I think, 27 bullets shot. This gentleman tried to pull out his wallet at one point, or something when he was cornered, and I forgot, but they thought it was a gun. One of the officers thought it was a gun. He shot. Another officer saw this officer shoot, and he flew back and shot a bullet, and some other officer saw that officer fly back and shoot a bullet, and so he thought that officer got shot, and so he shot a bullet, and this person was shot 27 plus times without having a gun, which is extremely scary. And yeah, it goes to show how lucky Jameson definitely was. So next up, I guess that's pretty much it, guys. So we've mostly done a Q&A throughout. So let's see if we have any quick questions here to wrap things up. I know this video is getting lengthy. I'm reading Tipping Point myself right now, Carl Ivy by Gladwell. And it's really awesome to read Tipping Point and look at it and think about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and how we are at the tipping point and how this is just an idea that's spreading everywhere. And it really shows you how Bitcoin is not going to shut down, and it's Pandora's box that's been opened. Yes, Tipping Point, great book. Does Z Classic have a future? To be honest, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. There are a lot of privacy coins out there. I don't see enough happening to Z Classic yet, enough of a community to say that it'll live that longer. That's my own personal opinion. There are other great options out there right now. It's because cops aren't thoroughly trained, says Rogue Planet. That stuff only happens here in the United States. Yes, actually, that's another thing, is that if cops... There was another example used there about live training exercises and how over time, if cops do, like, practice shooting, even if it's like paintball, I guess, like at each other, or actually doing training simulations where they approach homes, just like happened with Jameson Lopp, and over time they train, they do simulations, and they learn how to react and keep their calm, because the body does adapt and doesn't panic continuously to the same level every single time you're in the same pressure. Then it has been proven that they will be less trigger happy in these kinds of moments. And it's not that they're trigger happy. I think it's dangerous for both whoever is in the home, for example, or in this kind of situation, and the police themselves. So it is a matter of training. I totally agree there. All lives do matter. Yes, all lives do matter, not just government life, says Miss Louie. Miss Lou W123. I did talk about EEA and E8 and the HP release today already. So Bob Orr says, read Mindset by Dweik, D-W-E-I-K, talks about growth versus fixed mindsets. Change your life perspective. Yes, and also Think and Grow Rich helped me so much as well. Just more books. And audiobooks are a great way to get books while you're on the move, because I know we're all busy. So Audible subscription, I've been really enjoying myself to get through these books while traveling, for example. So take care, guys. Let's wrap things up here with a big thank you to everybody who's here. So thank yourselves. A big round of applause for everybody who's here in the live chat. Thanks a lot. I bow to you humbly. And I want to thank James Bond, who gave us a donation of Bitcoin on the after the last video. So thanks, James. He's not here now, but he's always here in the live chat and always in the comment section. And he's a supporter of many different channels across the board. Also, I want to thank all the Patreon subscribers. So if you give us even $1 or $2 every single month to support this channel, it helps stave off the pressure that I feel like, oh man, we're being demonetized here on YouTube, and it's going to be hard to spend so much energy getting these videos up here personally. So it helps every little thing to show that you just appreciate the channel as well. And also for people who bought Ledger hardware wallets to support this channel, either with the Ledger Nano link below or for the crypto hardware wallet link below, either one helps a lot. But actually, I appreciate if you can give some love also to crypto hardware wallet, because Joseph works really, really hard for you. And I think oftentimes it can be cheaper, especially if you're here in the United States. So yeah, join our official Facebook group, guys. We're growing 22,000 members strong. Love reading the conversations you have there, the polls being created. There's some really good polls that are there today. I think I pinned somebody else's article on there, so good stuff. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, follow my girlfriend on Snapchat, so you can get oftentimes to me if I can't answer your question directly. Oftentimes people reach out to her and then she'll ask me, and I'll answer to her, and then she'll talk to you guys. Also, be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so, and you can join our community. Let me know if you're a new subscriber in the comments. I love to hear from new people, and much love. Be easy, hit like, share this video far and wide. Look out for our intro to crypto video coming out very, very soon. I hope you share that with everyone who's interested when it's ready, and stay cryptic. Take care, guys. Much love, and wrapping up with a quote here. Let's see where it's at. So yeah, I think this ties in really nicely to the book by Dweik, which is, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself. Oftentimes, the most change you can affect in the world comes from within, and being able to change your habits. If you have some bad habits you want to get rid of, I hear it takes a minimum of 90 days in order to change a bad habit, with maybe substituting it for a good habit. It's going to be very, very difficult, but I mean, it's really, once you take out a rut that you've been in, something negatively, maybe enjoyable at the time, then afterwards you look back on it and you feel guilty. Just take that guilt out of it. You feel happy, uplifted, and you can fill it with positive things, whether it's exercises or reading or playing an instrument or reading more about cryptocurrencies or finance, or, all these things are going to help you so much. So I encourage you to look at your life and analyze yourselves and try to grow every single day. So much love, take care, and stay cryptic.
Yeah.